Hey, it's Neil from Walter's Appliance, and today we have a Bosch dishwasher with an E15 air coat. This one was actually leaking from the sump, so we're going to put a gasket around it. I'm going to show you where it's leaking. I've already diagnosed this. So you see me put the screwdriver in there, and right there, right where the screwdriver is, that's where the leak is. Okay, so we've taken all the racks out. And now we've got to get the tube out. The tube is held by two clips. And take the filter out just counterclockwise. Okay, there's one clip at the top and one right there in the center. You just got to get a screwdriver in there and just pry it over a bit. And then there's 4 screws that are holding the tube to the actual sump. So you can use a gun to get those screws out, but when we're putting it back together, you're going to have to do it by hand. Okay, so those 2 are out of there, and then that just lifts up. That's the tube and the water distributor. We can just rest that somewhere. So it's a good idea to clean this up a bit. Okay. So yeah, on the sump itself, because we're going to be sliding that gasket up and over and then pulling it down to seal, there's just 2 little tabs. You'll see it only on the right side that need to be cut off with a really sharp knife. So that's what I'm doing here. There's one, and you should be able to see me do the other one. Okay, and that's the other side there. This is all in the instructions too. Part number 125744. And this is good for all the Bosch dishwashers, I believe. Okay, and there's the other 2 screws, Torx T20. Yep, so we got to keep this area clean, so I'll just quickly clean this up a bit. Okay, so there's the repair set. Part number 125744. You get 4 new screws. These screws are different from the ones that were there before. And then you get the gasket, and then you get a small tool to actually lift that gasket over the sump. And then you, with a little bit of rinse aid and a little bit of movement with the sump, will pull that under. I hope you can see that. Okay, and there's the rinse aid, just a good lubricant to use. I have used soap and water before, like a little bit of frothy soap and water. Got to be careful with that because you don't want that to be in the dishwasher once the repair is done. Okay, so that's the tool. So we're just going to go under there, under the actual stainless steel. Okay. And so now we can just pull that gasket up. And then once you get it up, you can take the tool out and just get it over. And then pull it back down. Use a little bit more rinse aid. And there is a little bit of play with that sump. I mean, don't be too hard on this, but you can see me pulling that down. Just a little bit more rinse aid as a lubricant. Okay, so that one's in. And you can kind of see how that, once we get this over the other one, it's just going to be a circle that's just under that stainless steel where the sump is. And then when we screw it together, that'll actually seal that area and there won't be any more E15 error code. So that's just me guiding this. Once that gasket is under there, it pretty much opens up perfectly. So you just got to get it under there. Remember, you can push down a little bit on the sump, not too much. You don't want to pull this thing completely off. But yes, here's me doing the exact same thing again on the other side. Okay, that is just over now. All right, a little bit more rinse aid. Okay, same thing. Just kind of like gently move that with lubricant. The gasket is actually pretty strong. I've never broken one or anything like that, but you still want to be fairly gentle with this. Okay, looks like we've got it over. So now I'm just putting the rest of the gasket under there. All right, so just guide it under the stainless steel. Okay, I think it's almost in there. Yeah, you can see me pushing it down just to get a little bit more leverage to get that under there. Okay, so that's under there now. Now we can start doing the last bit to put this together. Okay, so you want to put the two screws at the bottom there, right? Leave the top because we got to put the tube back on. So screw those down by hand just until the bottom of the head touches the stainless steel. So you're not going to screw this down all the way. So that's me doing one, and I'll do the other one. Remember, you want to do this by hand. You do not want to use a tool. You cannot risk stripping this. If you strip this, then that's it. I'm thinking that's a new dishwasher. Okay, so just until the bottom of the head of the screw touches the stainless steel, and then stop. Okay, so now we can put the tube back and the water distributor. That's just the bottom part of the tube. Once you'll see, yeah, that bottom part right there. So once you get that back in, the rest of the tube should just click back in. So now we're going to get those other two screws, but now we're going to screw the whole thing down. Starting on the one on the left, you're going to go clockwise, right? So one on the left to the one on the right, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, then the one on the bottom, but we're going to screw them all the way down. So screw that until you feel like the resistance, that it's like fully engaged. You don't want to go any further than that because that will be actually squishing the gasket and creating that seal that we're looking for. Okay, that's one. And then we're going to do the same thing for the next one, and that's two. So the two at the bottom are not screwed all the way down. Okay, and you're just going to keep going in a clockwise fashion. Okay, and that's it. Once you get them all four seated, just put it all back together. Another repair by Neil from Walters Appliance.